The Atlantic Ocean is 3,000 miles of nothing, no landmarks, no reference points, just water and sky meeting at a horizon that never changes. In November 1942, that endless blue becomes home to a man who shouldn't survive a week. He survives 4.5 months. Poon Lim doesn't look like a survivor. He's 24 years old, born on Hainan Island off the southern coast of China. He's short, slight, and can barely swim. As a child, he worked in fishing villages, but the ocean terrifies him. In 1942, with Japan aggressively invading China, his father makes a decision: better for his son to leave than face conscription into the Chinese army. So Poon Lim becomes a merchant sailor, taking whatever work he can find on British ships. The pay is terrible. The treatment is worse. Chinese seamen work subordinate roles with no training and no chance of advancement. They're second-class sailors on British vessels, doing jobs white crew members won't touch. Poon Lim accepts this because the alternative is war back home. He takes a position as second mess steward on the SS Ben Lomond, a British armed merchant ship. His job is to serve food and clean cabins. Nothing glamorous, nothing dangerous. Or so he thinks. On November 10, 1942, the Ben Lomond departs Cape Town, South Africa, carrying supplies to Paramaribo in South America, then onward to New York. The ship has 54 crew members, 44 British officers and sailors, plus 10 Chinese workers like Poon Lim. The Ben Lomond is armed with defensive guns, but it's slow, maximum speed of 12 knots, and it's sailing without an escort, alone in U-boat-infested waters. 13 days into the voyage, on November 23, 1942, the Ben Lomond is 750 miles east of the coast of Brazil. It's afternoon. Poon Lim is in his cabin below deck when he feels the first explosion. The ship lurches violently to one side. Before he can stand, the second torpedo hits. The vessel starts sinking immediately. German submarine U-17-2 has fired both torpedoes from close range. The hits are perfect. The Ben Lomond doesn't stand a chance. 2 minutes. That's all the time the crew has before the ship goes under. Poon Lim grabs his life jacket and runs for the deck. Chaos everywhere. Men screaming, lifeboats tangled in their rigging, water pouring through gaping holes in the hull. He sees 2 officers and a seaman trying to launch a lifeboat, but it's stuck. The ship is tilting at a severe angle now. There's no time. Poon Lim makes a decision. He jumps. The water is freezing. The shock nearly stops his heart. He kicks to the surface and swims as hard as he can away from the ship. Behind him, men are still trapped on deck, calling for help. Then the boilers explode. The Ben Lomond disappears beneath the surface in a massive eruption of steam and debris. Poon Lim treads water, barely able to keep his head above the waves. He's not a strong swimmer, never has been. His arms and legs burn with exhaustion after just minutes. In the distance, he sees the German U-boat surface. The submarine crew spots another lifeboat with 5 survivors. They pull the men aboard the U-boat, presumably for questioning. Poon Lim tries to swim toward them, but the submarine suddenly dives. The displacement from the diving sub creates violent turbulence in the water. When the surface settles, both the U-boat and the lifeboat with the 5 men are gone, vanished. For 2 hours, Poon Lim swims through oil slicks and wreckage. His arms can barely move. His lungs scream for air. Just when he's about to give up, he sees a wooden life raft floating about 100 yards away. He summons every ounce of strength left in his body and swims. When he finally pulls himself aboard, he collapses. The raft is 8 feet square, made of timber planks lashed together. Not much, but it's floating. Poon Lim takes inventory of the supplies tied to the raft. Several tins of British hardtack biscuit, a 40-liter jug of fresh water, about 10 gallons, some chocolate bars, a bag of sugar cubes, 2 smoke pots, a flashlight, and a handful of flares for signaling rescue ships. He does them. If he rations carefully, a few swallows of water and 2 biscuits in the morning. Same in the evening. He has maybe 30 days before everything runs out. Surely rescue will come before then. The Ben Lomond was on a known shipping route. Other vessels pass through these waters regularly. He just has to wait. Days turn into weeks. No ships, no aircraft, just endless ocean. The sun bakes him during the day. At night the temperature drops and he shivers under the open sky. He ties a rope from the raft to his wrist while he sleeps, because he can't swim well enough to recover if he falls overboard. Around day 30, the water runs out. Then the biscuits. Then the chocolate. Poon Lim is alone on a tiny raft in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, with no food, no water and no rescue in sight. Most men would lie down and wait to die. Poon Lim decides to fish. He has no fishing equipment, but he has ingenuity. He takes the flashlight and carefully disassembles it, extracting the small wire spring inside. He bends and twists the wire until it forms a crude fishhook. He unravels hemp rope from the raft itself to create a fishing line. He crushes pieces of leftover hardtack into crumbs for bait. His first attempts catch nothing. But after hours of patience, a small fish bites. He pulls it aboard and stares at it, raw fish. No fire to cook it. He eats it anyway. The protein keeps him alive. When he catches larger fish, he uses them as bait for even bigger prey. He pulls a nail from the wooden planks of the raft and hammers it into a sturdier hook using his shoe as a hammer. He cuts open one of the empty pemmican cans and fashions a crude knife from the metal. Every tool he needs, he creates from what's already on the raft. Rainwater becomes his lifeline. He rigs the canvas tarp from his life jacket as a canopy that both shades him from the sun and catches rainfall. When storms roll through, he fills every container he has. The water tastes stale and dirty, but it keeps him hydrated. Around day 60, a freighter passes within a few hundred yards of his position. Poon Lim screams and waves his arms. He lights one of his precious flares. The ship doesn't stop. It doesn't even slow down. He watches it disappear over the horizon. Later, a U.S. Navy patrol plane flies directly overhead. He lights another flare and jumps up and down on the raft. The plane drops a marker buoy in the water. They've seen him, but then a massive storm hits. By the time the weather clears, he's drifted miles away from the marker. The rescue plane never finds him again. Some historians believe the ships ignored him because he was Asian. In 1942, with the Pacific War raging, Allied vessels feared Japanese traps. A lone Asian man on a raft could be bait. German U-boats were rumored to use fake survivors to lure ships into torpedo range. So they sailed past, left him to die rather than risk it. By day 70, Poon Lim is running out of fish. The bait isn't working anymore. He needs meat. He notices seagulls circling the raft, attracted by the smell of rotting fish guts. He gathers seaweed from the bottom of the raft and molds it into a shape resembling a bird's nest. He places rotting fish next to it. Then he lies perfectly still. When a gull lands to investigate, he grabs it by the neck. The bird fights violently, tearing his hands with its beak and claws. But Poon Lim doesn't let go. He snaps its neck. Then he does something that would horrify most people. He drinks its blood. The warm liquid is salty and metallic, but it quenches his thirst. He eats the bird's flesh raw. He dries strips of meat in the sun to make jerky for later. The blood attracts sharks. They circle the raft constantly, waiting. At first Poon Lim is terrified. Then he realizes shark meat is protein. Shark liver contains fluids. If he can catch one, he can survive longer. He uses bird flesh as bait and dangles it over the side on his reinforced fishing line. When a small shark finally bites, he hauls it aboard with every ounce of strength he has left. The shark thrashes violently on the deck. It's maybe 4 feet long, all muscle and teeth. Poon Lim wraps his hands in canvas for protection. He grabs the half-empty water jug and beats the shark over the head repeatedly until it stops moving. Then he cuts it open with his improvised knife. He sucks blood directly from its liver. The taste is revolting, but the moisture saves his life. He slices off the fins, a delicacy in Hainan Chinese cuisine, and lets them dry in the sun. Days blur together. He stops counting around day 90. What's the point? He's either going to die out here, or he's not. Counting doesn't change that. Instead he counts full moons. 1 moon, 2 moons, 3 moons, 4 moons. On day 13d1, he notices something different. The water color changes from deep black to pale green. Seaweed floats past the raft. Birds fly overhead in patterns, suggesting land. His heart races. After more than 4 months at sea, land might be close. On the morning of April 5, 1943, day 13d3, he sees a small sail on the horizon. He has no flares left. He burned them all weeks ago on ships that ignored him. So he waves his shirt and jumps up and down, screaming at the top of his lungs. The boat changes direction. It's heading toward him. 3 Brazilian fishermen pull alongside the raft. They speak Portuguese, which Poon Lim doesn't understand. But the relief on their faces is universal. They help him into their boat. He's too weak to climb aboard himself. They give him water in small sips. Too much too fast could kill him. They give him dried beans. Then they start their motor and head west toward Belém, at the mouth of the Amazon River in Brazil. Poon Lim has drifted across the entire Atlantic Ocean. He's lost 20 pounds. His skin is blistered and cracked. His body is covered in sores and infected wounds. But he's alive. When they reach land 3 days later, he can walk unaided. Barely, but he walks. He spends 4 weeks in a Brazilian hospital. Doctors can't believe he survived. The human body shouldn't last 3 days on a life raft. The exposure alone should have killed him. The dehydration, the starvation, the psychological trauma of complete isolation. But Poon Lim defied every medical probability. The British government arranges his transport to New York, then back to Britain. On July 16, 1943, at a ceremony in New York, the British consul informs him that King George VI is awarding him the British Empire Medal. The citation reads, "Poon Lim displayed exceptional courage, fortitude and resource in overcoming the tremendous difficulties with which he was faced." The Royal Navy incorporates his survival story into official training manual. His techniques, making fish hooks from wire, catching birds for blood, beating sharks to death, become standard survival instruction for sailors. The US Navy asks him to demonstrate his methods. They build a replica of his raft. Photographers document everything. President Truman requests a personal meeting. When reporters tell him he holds the world record for longest survival on a life raft, Poon Lim's response is simple and haunting. "I hope no one will ever have to break it." After the war, he tries to emigrate to the United States. But the quota for Chinese immigrants has been reached. However, because of his fame and the intervention of Senator Warren Magnuson, he receives special dispensation. He becomes a US citizen and settles in Brooklyn, New York. He lives quietly there until his death on January 4, 1991, at the age of 72. His record still stands. As of today, no one has survived longer alone on a life raft in the open ocean. 133 days. More than 4 months. Longer than a full season. Poon Lim, the man who shouldn't have survived a week, survived longer than anyone before or since. The Atlantic Ocean is 3,000 miles of nothing. But somewhere in that nothing, a slight Chinese man who could barely swim, proved that the human will to survive can overcome anything.